Preaching on the yeah.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Episode 3 of the Goal Line Goons. Dilly, what's good, yo? Taco, what it do, man?
Yeah, man, I'm recovering from depression, but I mean, we can talk about all those kind of reasons later.
I'm still recovering from partying at Mile High Sunday.
Ooh, you was at that upset? We gonna call it an upset. We gonna call that an upset because the Broncos was up early. They was riding and
I won't call it an upset per se. Just because like it's Denver.
I say it because they had in the game they had a nice size lead and they let it go.
Emmanuel Forbes with his first career interception, got to see that live. This is not the show.
You gotta watch Brian Robinson go the fuck off, Manny man.
Brian Robinson, Terry McLaurin with the touchdown, bro. It was crazy.
Terry
was a crazy weekend.
That was a big boy touchdown too. That was a big boy touchdown.
Aiden already. What's good, Aiden? And talks about trading Fields, Judy, Pickens, Justice for Dak, DeMonte, Madison, Dotson. You just don't need Madison in there. You just don't need that. I'm not going to go on Alexander Madison.
Justice.
Look. We'll see how the show goes because there's a couple of topics that I think I could also freestyle at the top of the head too. We'll see how the show goes, ladies and gentlemen. You already know though. It is the Goal Line Goons. Let's get into today's pod, bro.
Yeah.
There's like one glaring, a lot of injuries happen. Like I named this show, my roster is an ER.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of injuries throughout the NFL, but there was one serious one that was really honestly just not intentionally the icing on the cake. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like it was not what none of us wanted. And that is no other than Nick Chubb. Before we even get into like life after Nick Chubb, bro, like
I used to lace the beat, you used to lock the flow. Like, yo, I mean, I'll be missing you.
Oh my God.
Oh, all right, like RIP to your season. I know you're still alive, brother, but like
you're still alive, but damn,
but RIP to your season and like for your career. I don't know what's gonna happen here. You're near a contract year. The NFL is so cruel. I pray to God it's not as bad. That you're not gonna be able to not be back to the person that you were. I'm sorry if me drafting you this year is any of the reason why something like this happened. As all know,
that is such a fantasy thing. Wow, don't even be that guy.
It's said in a joking way, but like you know how it is. It's said in a joking way, but like but seriously, it's a devastating injury for the NFL in general. This is one of the best running backs to do it, to ever have done it. He puts up historic numbers. When you look at
not out here doing like he comes to work and just plays fucking football
for the Browns, bro.
If you ask anyone in the NFL,
bro,
like hold on, because I just need to make sure I put context here. Okay, not just all like the fantasy side of it. All right. For context, if you ask anyone in the NFL, like how they feel about Nick Chubb, like that is the one person, that is the one player that no player in any locker room can say anything bad about. The dude shows up to work and does his job. He's not in the media. He's not out here doing mad endorsements or anything. And he's literally the best running back in the league. He has more 2K rushing yard seasons. Like, come on.
What is the average per carry? It was like something over 5 per carry or something like that. Numbers are ridiculous for the Browns. And he plays for the Cleveland fucking Browns. Make no mistake about it. This is a disgustingly bad franchise that literally has no clue what they're doing for the whole time he's been there.
The best player on your team goes down. We're going to get into Jerome Ford, and we're going to get into that situation. Don't get me wrong. Ford's a good player. Cleveland, you guys lost your best player. And that fucking blows because honestly, Watson hasn't looked amazing.
No, he hasn't. If anything, with that injury, I'm truly almost like worried from the standpoint of Watson does not look good. And you would think that, okay, Chubb's out. This is going to be a Watson show. And I don't know even if you give him the show at this point, if he could do it at that level. Like that layoff may have literally just taken him out.
It's just been you haven't, like, you're out of that rhythm now. You're not that person.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Not the same without the massages, says Aiden. Let's kind of get into Jerome Ford. Aiden saying 60% of fab on Ford. How much fab do you spend on Ford?
I think this is one of those tough decisions that you really come to. I think it was last year or 2 years ago, probably. No, last year, where the 49ers running back got hurt. I think it was Mostert or Wilson, one of those two guys. Then Elijah Mitchell came up, blowing up, and then I think he got hurt, and then they traded for McCaffrey. And then next thing you know, because everyone spent everything on Elijah Mitchell, you kind of was like, oh shit, that trade come in, killed my fab, killed everything. So it's like I don't want to spend more than 50%. I can't spend more than 50%.
50%'s a lot.
Yeah.
So here's my thing.
And
so
I can even spend that.
I didn't have, from my personal standpoint, didn't have Nick Chubb really in a whole lot of leagues. I think that there was definitely probably a best ball mania that I had him in. But I didn't really have him all over the place because, I mean, and we'll get into it later on, I chose to kind of wait on running back. I mean, right now through 2 weeks of football, it doesn't look so good in theory. Miles Sanders, Dave Montgomery, Damian Pierce, so on and so forth. The list goes on. Kind of, I don't know if the running back dead zone now makes a resurgence. We'll kind of talk about trade talks and things of that later. I'm only spending fab on Ford to block the Chubb manager to get him, but I'm not going to spend what the Chubb manager is going to spend. I can't justify that. I personally cannot justify spending that for when they're more. I'm sorry to tell you this. This is fantasy football, and you're going to need players throughout the season. Players are going to get hurt. You're going to need to prepare yourself in case more shit happens.
Yes.
So going out there in week 2, like once we kind of get out of September and the NFL kind of cleans up a little bit, let's face it, we've seen some sloppy football a little bit. we've seen some not so great football because you could tell that there's still some guys shaking off rust. Me personally, if you have Chubb, you have to spin. You have to spin. And this is the way that the game goes. This is the part of the strategy. This is the part of the game theory where if you want Ford, you're gonna have to spend 60%, like Aiden just said in the chat. You're gonna have to spend 50%, like you just mentioned.
I see, like this is
it puts you in such a position.
Okay, so hear me out here.
And then if they bring back Kareem Hunt,
see, okay, so hear me out here. Okay, I'm in a $150 league, 12-man, aggressive fab wire. I lost Chubb. I'm deep at wide receiver. My second best running back after Pollard. Now that I lost Chubb is Gainwell. Like literally, I got Justice Hill and Gainwell. I'm in a situation where I'm kind of pressed for running back. But to your point, and like you said, it's like there's like these injuries and these trades, and you can choose to risk it. What if they fucking sign Leonard Fournette and say, well, fuck it, we're gonna give Lenny a shot to fucking go for 3 downs here because now we don't have Chubb, and it looks like Watson needs help, and you're still not enough. But then they love Ford, so I'm so torn. I don't know if it could turn into a split backfield, or maybe they get someone else now, and it's like you saw Pierre Strong come in for the goal line carry. Now, obviously, that was on the heels of a 69-yard run.
Yeah, exactly.
So he was probably gassed, and that's why he pulled him out. But what if it wasn't? What if they do use him like that because they don't want to hurt? I don't know. There's still too many unknowns where I just can't justify the spend of more than 50. And I might let someone else overspend for him and try and wait for the next thing because as we talked about in previous shows, and you've seen in the article, there's guys popping up. I
think that is a great strategy to let someone overspend on him, get him, and then they announce that they're signing Hunt Wednesday, and then you just bag Hunt. I don't even care if you go and you just go grab Hunt right now just for the fuck of it.
Or in some cases, like I'm in the league that I have Chubb, Hunt's already rostered. I go back and I look and I say
that's
crazy.
That's weird.
I know. I'm livid. I'm absolutely livid.
That's weird.
Yeah, this is the kind of league I'm in. But at the same point in time, it might play out well for him because he believes in Hunt. Like when you're a Hunt believer and stuff like that, when you're a truther, your man's going to be signed at some point and be a big deal. And I still think Hunt's going to play a factor this fantasy season.
I mean, there's about what? Let's see.
That's the thing, here. Bro. If Hunt came, but then Hunt, they didn't want to sign. I don't know, bro. I'm so torn. This shit
I think that Kareem Hunt is sitting back right now. He is 23% rostered.
That's crazy, right? That's crazy.
He is 23. That to me, that says one dynasty numbers are also factored into that.
Yeah.
So there's.
But I'm in a 1 QB redraft.
Like, so let's see here. If we were to check, let me see my ESPN league. I guaranteed in ESPN, like that's not going to be as much of a thing. But no, I bring that up because there's 23% of people, on Sleeper that they're confident that now he's gonna be signed. I guarantee that a lot of that in the redraft circles, people that didn't probably already have him stashed away in Dynasty in redraft circles.
I've seen him go up 4% in Yahoo already. He's 15% total rostered, and most waivers haven't cleared yet, so we expect him to, pretty much catapult. But I would probably pivot to more like, unless I'm absolutely desperate, I would pivot to keeping my budget for now, especially if I'm in the playoff hunt, because once we get near the playoffs and you lose a guy there and you need that extra fab, I don't want to be without it. So
he is 5.9% rostered in ESPN leagues. So you can. So I'm almost willing to wait to see if they grab a free agent. If I don't want to wait to see if they grab them a free agent, this is a perfect time for us to now segue. We're gonna just move something around on the social here. Waiver wire picks. waiver wire picks. I'm gonna just keep it here on the running backs. Guys, you can still get you a little bit of Kyron here and there. He's sitting around. He's flirting with that 55-ish, 60 in some places. You can still grab him. Like, I'm looking at a league right now where, like, I can grab Kyron Williams. While everyone else, because of how severe the Chubb injury is, and because of how predicated on the running game that the Cleveland Browns offense is, everyone's going to run and go and try and buy Ford. And while they're all trying to zig, you can zag and still get a guy who already through 2 weeks, you've already figured out what he is. They're moving on from Cam Akers. They're going to trade. And the words released have been used in the most recent hour or two in regards to Cam Akers from the Rams organization.
How about this? Right now on the season, Kyron Williams in single point PPR is the running back number 2 on the whole season out of every single running back that can play. Can you guess who's the only running back ahead of him?
It's only 2 games, but yes, when you say whole season, it's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the difference though. He has 45 points. McCaffrey has 48. There's only 5 players total in the 40s. By the time you get to running back 12, you're at 29 points. He is starting to create distance, and
he's definitely creating distance.
The way that he's being used in the passing game, the amount of routes that he's running, the amount of time that he's on the field, just gives me great feeling about him. Like, he's feeling more than a flex to me. He's feeling more like an RB2 if he's getting this kind of usage. He's getting goal line. There's literally no one anywhere near close to stopping this dude. So I'm all in on the Kyron Williams train. If you want to read more about it, check out the article that I dropped last week. It's still live on the site. Big Boy Fantasy Sports.
Big guy.
Big Guy Fantasy Sports. I'm sorry, my tongue little.
Mouth got a little dry there. I saw that.
Exactly. But definitely check it out. He's a guy that going into that game, we were already getting you hyped for, already telling you to pick up before the rush came, because let's face it, he has a perfect opportunity. Did we expect the Akers news? No, but it just makes it so much sweeter.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, go get you some Kyron Williams. Went from RB12 in week 1 to RB3 in week 2.
Yeah. How about this guy? My guy went from RBNA, wasn't even on the fucking map, to RB25 in 1 week. In 1 week. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks, so I mean, it was a good week. But it's my boy Zach Moss over with the Colts. I think what we saw, remember last year, he was traded to the Colts. Deion Jackson has shown some sparks, some flashes, but he's not shown enough to solidify the role. And as we saw on Sunday, Moss got the totes. He had 18 carries for 88 yards with a touchdown. He had 4 catches for 19 yards. So not only were they using him in the running game, they're using him in the passing game. Does he get that touchdown if Richardson stays in this game? I don't know. But is Richardson going to play the next game? I don't know. Are they going to let Richardson run it in after he just had the concussion and he had a little bit of a shoulder issue in this one? I don't know. Maybe they played a little bit safer with him, especially to get in the red line.
It's obvious that Deion Jackson is not the answer there. So, I mean, in terms of I'm buying in.
And it's right now 54% rostership. Again, if you lost, Chubb in competitive leagues, you're probably not seeing him. In home leagues, in some of your other leagues, Zach Moss is going to be a guy that you're going to want to scoop up. And he can, if you don't want to overspend on Ford, Zach Moss is perfectly fine to get you through for a couple of weeks, because we do know Taylor's coming back. Moss is not a guy who overspends.
We do not know if Taylor is coming back.
Well, technically, he's supposed to come back week 4, but it's a wild card. And with the contract situations where if he doesn't play, it could reset his contract. I expect him to show up.
Bro, this is the same team, the same organization that Andrew Luck walked off and just retired Middle of a preseason game, bro. Like,
you're
come
right.
on.
It is a wild card that Zach Moss could end up keeping the job because Taylor never comes back, or Taylor gets traded and Zach Moss has the job. That's why he's a great speculation ad. That's why even though there's uncertainty of what's to come, you can get him for a lower fab budget. Hold over until Chubb goes down, like, for your Chubb injury for the next couple of weeks, and kind of figure it out without spending all your fab and leaving you in position for the end of the year to still be able to make moves. Because if you spend 60% of your fab now, come the end of the season, if something happens or there's a hot guy that comes up because there's gonna be more injuries.
Whoa.
I don't think people understand this. There will be more, and
there will be that. And this is football. This is football.
So don't waste don't blow your wad too early, as they say.
Yep. I mean, you have that Colts team up against the Ravens. It's a 7.5 line right now. Ravens heavy favorites in that. Makes Zach Moss a pretty interesting concept, especially if there's no Anthony Richardson. You gotta have to keep the ball out of Lamar's hands, and you're gonna have to do that by chewing up clock and moving yards. So maybe Zach Moss, not a bad play there.
And if I think about it, for those little dump off passes too, little cheap, like 1 point catch, 5 yards, 6 yards, just because they're blitzing him or coming at him and he needs to get rid of the ball. So, I mean, he already had 4 catches last week. A little bit of that also makes him just pretty safe because 4 catches for 20 yards, 6 points already off the bat.
I like it. I want to get into some waiver wire receivers. Who are you looking at for receivers right now?
The waiver wire receivers. I'm right now. I'm looking at a guy that really got on the field more last week, and that I'm expecting to stay on the field as we continue. And that's the wide receiver in Houston, who is currently 6% rostered. And that's Tank Dell. Tank Dell showed some flashes in preseason. Tank Dell showed some great rapport with CJ Stroud in training camp. There was a lot of, early season buzz for Tank Dell, but when the first depth charts came out, it was Nico, it was Woods, and it was Brown. Okay. He wasn't in the top 3 in most redraft three wide receiver leagues. He's really not someone that you're going to hold per se. But Noah Brown went on the IR. He's out for 4 weeks. In the first game, what?
Oh, go ahead.
In the first game that he got outside of outside of Brown, he was running in 3 receiver sets. What he was able to do last week was pretty damn solid. Hold on 1 second. I just lost the place.
While you do that, I'm going to respond to our chat. Just traded Mostert, Najee, Love for Garrett Wilson, Fields, Gainwell. Your thoughts? 14 team, half PPR. Justin Fields right now has me on like a high alert.
I agree with Robbie,
and I don't think that it's gonna turn around. I mean, hopefully it does. Because I have Fields in a lot of places, and I'm ready to move on.
I'll be honest. Already. Garrett Wilson also has me in a high alert because I don't trust Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson did not look good. That's the one thing about receivers more than running backs. Running backs can operate independent of a quarterback, whereas like Zach Moss, like if Minshew's there, he actually might get more work. But if you have a bad quarterback with your receiver, it's a whole different ball game because who's going to get him the ball?
Exactly.
And this is a situation where Zach Wilson brings down Garrett Wilson's value, in my opinion. Now, if they get a Jamie Winston or somebody else, it could bring him back up. But as of now, I'm kind of down on Wilson and Fields, but I'm also down on Najee.
I am down on Najee. I am down on Najee though. I love to see Mostert.
Mostert's been on fire.
Yeah, Mostert's been snapping lately.
Gainwell, I'm hoping Gainwell comes back and this coaching staff is kind of like, okay, you're the RB1. We let Swift take over. But when you see what Swift did last week,
Yeah,
it's going to be hard not to make that at least.
You can't deny. Yeah,
it's not going to be what we saw in week 1. I don't think so. But again, coaching staffs always, go to show you something. And when it comes to that time, because they believe in certain pass protections and they believe in certain plays that they could run because the other guy can't, do X, Y, or Z. And Gainwell is significantly more familiar with their playbook, with their style, with the team. So it's very dicey. I like Gainwell. I drafted Gainwell, but after that Swift performance, I am a little nervous for Gainwell.
I mean, yeah, I feel like you kind of have to be nervous for Gainwell. DeAndre Swift, 50% consistency rating so far on the season. I honestly only think for that to go up. You guys can check that out utilizing the football consistency report over on Big Guy Fantasy Sports. Should I trade DK and Ramondre for Chase and Algier? If the person is willing to move Chase, the way that you're able to spin that, the message I'm sending is, hey, Burrow and the calf, we're not looking too good, et cetera, et cetera. If I have Burrow, I'm holding Burrow, stashing him in my IR. He'll be back. It's a calf. He just needs to honestly rest it. He should have never even started in week 1. They should have rested him. But if you're able to kind of utilize that pitch and get Chase and Algier, I'm all in on that. Algier right now, because the way that Atlanta's moving and the way that offense is moving, first off, who would have thought that Atlanta would be on their net? They haven't been 2-0 since 2017. Atlanta 2-0 down there in the South. And the way they're making both those running backs look, I'm loving it.
I'll be honest with you. I am not doing that trade. I would rather keep DK and Ramondre. I get Chase is nice, but when you look at it right now, DK's outperforming him. And who's to say that Chase is not going to fully bounce back to the point where DK is a beast in himself and can't match him in most weeks? I am not sold on the way that this offense has looked, and we need Burrow to come back, and that's still going to be a couple more weeks, or even if he comes back.
And when he and those weeks when he comes back are the weeks that you are really, really going to be wanting to put together those.
Yeah, wins. But here's the thing: DK and Chase. Okay, I'll give you Chase is better than DK, but it's not a big enough gap where Ramondre Stevenson versus Algier is a clear cut, far and away win for me. I love Ramondre Stevenson way more than I like Algier.
But that's also how biased you've also beaten the Ramondre Stevenson drum from off season all the way on.
That's not biased.
You hear Ramondre Stevenson's name,
yeah,
and you fangirl.
Okay, right now he's running back 10 on the season. Fangirl for running back 10. He's running back 10.
It's 2 games.
It's 2 games, but he has 9 catches for 74 yards.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at Seattle's schedule ahead. Just their next 6.
Well, to me, here's the thing. I consider Chase better than
Chase Panthers, is better than Giants, DK. Bengals.
Look at how I analyze this trade. Chase is better than DK, but it's not a huge enough difference, especially with the Burrow entry, for me to be like, I'm willing to sacrifice the difference between Ramondre and
That's
Algier.
When you're wanting that. That's when you're wanting Chase, especially when it's like, okay, hey guys, I'm back.
But Ramondre is the one.
We need to go out there and win some games.
Why would you downgrade so much in running back?
He is still producing, bro.
Okay.
And honestly, right now, he's producing better than some fucking ones out there.
In week 1, because he had 2 touchdowns. In week 2, what did Algier do?
And if I'm still going, and if I still have an opportunity of getting that, I am going to go for it.
I significantly disagree with you on that because of Ramondre.
Atlanta's whole offense is through the backfield.
Ramondre Stevenson's catching upside is literally the reason why he's one of the safest running backs week in, week out.
Look,
last season he was a beast.
To each his own.
I'm only reason why Garrett Wilson is because Zach Wilson was not the one that he actually blew up with. It was Mike White and some Joe Flacco. It was actually episode 1 and episode 2. I still said, hey, he is quarterback proof.
He is quarterback proof. How we saw with early DeAndre Hopkins, he is also quarterback proof. In what we saw with the similar, Terry McLaurin, we've seen these guys that are just quarterback proof because they are that freaking talented.
But it is a dicey situation week in, week out when you're hoping that 1 or 2 catches literally make your day. If he doesn't have that big touchdown play, his day is washed.
I love the buy low, sell high mentality.
I agree with that.
Not sure though that those are the pieces that I want to do that with.
I agree. I've saw some tape from Fields that was rather uninspiring. I'm not really loving his passing game evolution that I've seen so far. His running we know is going to be there, but I kind of am a little scared. But that's just my personal opinion.
See, this is where the trade question is a worry, not having the running back depth. Saquon hoping that things are going to be okay for him. With the ankle, Brees Hall still getting it. McKinnon is in that KC offense. He'll get his every once in a while. You could probably slide him in for a couple of bye weeks here and there, but you're just hoping that he can carry the team during those times. Kamara, I'm excited for Kamara to come back.
100%.
Yeah. Yep. First week that he comes back into the offense, I'm sliding.
Yeah, that's a nice piece.
Devontae, get healthy, Devontae. Sucks. Concussions always suck. Jacoby is definitely good for you to have, especially this week. Should they not be able to play Devontae Adams, you could just run up, Jacoby Myers there. Godwin might be a good, piece to trade with as much as Mike Evans is going off, but Godwin is still going to have his games as well. Love McLaurin. Love your 2 tight ends. Ladies and gentlemen, go if you can get you some Gerald Everett, go get you some Gerald Everett because he's actually producing for tight ends right now. Was up, started 0-2. It's rough. It's been rough, weird 2 weeks. Things will shake out.
So first and foremost, I want to say you started 0-2, but do not stress out. I had a team that started 1-4 last year. I won 9 straight games, made the playoffs, was a 1 seed. Fuck anything. I was a 1 seed, bro, in a 14-team league. Like, let's not get it twisted. You have a solid team. Things might not break away right now, but the season ain't over. Fighters out here. We fight every fucking week because you never know. Things go crazy, and all of a sudden you back door in the playoffs with a juggernaut squad.
The logo's a dog for a reason. We some dogs. Don't worry.
I'll say this. If you have that opportunity for Brees Hall, for A.J. Brown, do it. I know A.J. Brown owners are freaking out. Do it.
Bro, that's one of those buy
you got Kamara coming back, and you're gonna be riding with Kamara anyway. You're gonna rock up in a full PPR with another top end wide receiver. So you got Devontae, Godwin, McLaurin. You're talking about 4 top end wide receivers, 2 top running backs, a legit quarterback with a top tight end. Who's fucking with you, bro?
You'll be fine. You'll be absolutely.
And then, like we were saying before, on the waiver wire, you're gonna find more top end or running backs that could be top end versus wide receivers who might play up, but they'll play up into more like a wide receiver 2 or a wide receiver 3 or a solid kind of flex. And running backs, we saw a guy like Kyron Williams, who we just were talking about 2 weeks ago, now is running back 2 on the season. He was a waiver wire ad.
Yeah.
Jerome Ford. He's another guy that's going to add. And this position has a lot of injury.
Oh, by the time when my favorite thing is getting to the end of the season and being like, damn, I won with this lineup.
Yeah.
Because it is not what it is.
Nope.
So many people that weren't drafted.
Yep.
Speaking of waiver wires, I know that you mentioned Tank Dell. One that I wanted to mention, Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims, I've been super high on Mims. I feel like everyone should go and get them some Marvin Mims. Marvin Mims put up a decent outing, 21.8 fantasy points. I feel like there's a lot more where that came from. definitely excited to see this kid continue to shine bright. Been high on him all year. 21 years old, had a whopping 113 yards. Also had a tutty as well against my Commanders. He put up a stat line while only being targeted twice on those 2 receptions. I think that this is going to be a smash play for Denver, and when they saw him when they saw him catch that tutty, they were like, "Damn, why didn't we go to him maybe a little bit sooner and probably more frequently?" Also got Dallas defense, just some bad luck. Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Even if you don't make that trade, you'll still be fine.
Started 1-1, 10-man league. Have Allen, Ramadre, James Conner, Diggs, DK, Pitts, Swift, Najee. Moving off of Najee is the move that you need to make.
Yeah. I'd immediately be starting to look for backup running backs that I might plug in. If Warren's available, try and get Warren.
Bro.
He looks so much
Jalen Warren's probably likely not available. I know that in many leagues that I am in, he is not available. He is 47% rostered. You can still get you some Jalen Warren.
That's what I'm saying. That's what Yahoo, I think, last week was at 41%.
Like, go.
Yep.
Hey, much love. Appreciate you.
Hey, we're here every Tuesday to make sure you guys win. We break down the questions, we break down the stats, we get through the bullshit and get to the goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely check us out here on Big Guy Fantasy Sports every Tuesday night, and also check out Bob on his many of shows that he has on here.
I'm gonna have an article dropping this week. With about 4 different waiver wire type pickups that you could do with kind of a flex appeal to them. If someone in a pinch that you might want to start, kind of giving you a little bit of information about that as well.
If you have second grab off of waivers, yes, you need to be making that bid. You need to be making that bid.
I think I would do Jerome Ford first because his upside to be the number 1 is tantalizing if he's available.
Oh yeah.
But again, Warren is another nice pivot. If Kyren Williams is there, that's a nice pivot. If Zach Williams is there, that's another guy that you could look at that might be an interesting guy for you as well.
Kenny Pickett's underwhelming. That back the Pittsburgh Stadium last night literally started chanting "Fire Canada" after a win against their freaking nemesis, their rival, the Cleveland Browns.
And you know what Tomlin said? He said, "Good. I want the fans to give me that." I love Tomlinson. He's such a great coach because I have no clue how they won that game. There's another game
that defense,
like that.
That defense
is ridiculous. And
JJ Watt,
and who's the other guy? High something.
Hightower, Alex Highsmith. Alex Highsmith, TJ Watt.
He's a monster too. I keep hearing and seeing him make plays, and it's just ridiculous.
Obviously, Ford has to be the first one, but you can always, if you miss out on Ford, then you can have Zach Moss as that backup waiver claim.
Yeah, I mean, Kyren Williams.
You can, and then also you can go Jalen Warren.
Yeah,
Kyren Williams is more along that 63% rostered market. If Kyren Williams is there, you're grabbing Kyren Williams above any and everyone.
Like I would break it down like this.
You're grabbing that.
I would go Kyren Williams 1, Jerome Ford 2. Who was the other guy that we were talking about other than Zach Moss? I would go Moss 3 and Warren 4, only because Moss is playing right now as the starter, and we're not 100% sure what's going on with Taylor, so he might backdoor his way into more playing time than we actually think. So you want to go with the immediate starter for now, but right underneath him, Warren, who looks like he's pushing up into like a 50-50 share, would be the next guy.
Really quick, we'll just shoot these off really quick. Tight ends that we feel like people should go and grab. For me, I'm going with Zach Ertz down there in the desert. Ertz, the ball has to go somewhere, right? The ball has to go somewhere, even if you are a tanking team. Ertz right now is tight end 7 on the league and on the I'm sorry, on the season with only 2 games being played, but he's only 17% rostered. So this is an easy, if you need a backup and you're not happy with what your backup tight end has currently been doing throughout the season, this is a really nice, easy way to just kind of maneuver around that. And maybe get a guy who's probably going to be consistent fairly early. I know that he is 32 years old, but hey, if I can, he may not be the same Zach Ertz as a young, but I mean, if I can get that a little bit of production out of Ertz in that fashion, definitely better than nothing. And then Taco, you had a guy, right? That you wanted to mention.
Not only do I have a guy, this man is only 56% rostered in Yahoo leagues. Okay. He is
48% sleeper.
Currently tight end 2 on the season. He has the second most receiving yards for the tight end position. And he goes by the name of Hunter Henry, bro. From the tight end from the New England Patriots. And currently, the thing I love about Hunter Henry is he has the 2 touchdowns. He's being involved in the game plan. They're using him in different ways and in different slots. And it just seems like he could be their number 1 receiver. Like, who do you really believe in on that team? Juju's not been great. Kiki, or not Kiki. What's his Booty? Who's the rookie that they have, or the young guy that they have who didn't play last year?
Keyshawn Boutte.
Yeah, he's someone that's interesting that's coming up who didn't play. So when you look at it, you have to say, okay, how much of a target share is this young guy going to have? But it's still, I think Henry feels like a safe play at least the next couple of weeks as we navigate the waters at the tight end wasteland.
It's a New England scheme. It's a Belichick scheme.
Yeah.
You know that the tight end is going to be involved.
I mean, a lot of people thought Mike Gesicki would be playing the role that Hunter Henry's playing. A lot of people thought Gesicki was going to be more of that receiving tight end that was going to get the yards and kind of be the sneaky guy. But it looks like it's Hunter Henry.
Well, Hunter Henry is showing that he still has some burn. Ford or Joshua Kelly. Joshua Kelly, if he's available, I mean, he's rostered in about 78% of leagues. They are playing a very porous Minnesota defense this week.
You're talking about 1 week. If you're talking about season long, I'm going Ford because he has the opportunity to be the number 1.
Yeah, Ford Ford with the opportunity there for the season long. But Joshua Kelly, I mean, Austin Eckler should be hopefully coming back soon. So how much more burn you get out of Joshua Kelly? Maybe he can, honestly, playing up against that Minnesota defense, definitely a solid play for the league. But don't know if it's going to be the investment for season long, especially with it possibly being back, Eckler being back in week 4. Should I drop Jamal Williams for Warren?
Robbie, read that injury report on, because you should be able to put him in out, or you should be able to put him in IR in most cases. Because if I remember correctly, didn't he have a hamstring or something like that?
Yeah, you should be. Yeah, I would put him in your IR, and then you grab Warren. But also, I mean, it sounds like also from some of your previous chats that you're looking at other options instead of Warren. Some of those other options that you brought up, some of the options that you brought up will have to, I feel like are better options for you than going with Warren. You only got one. Do you only got one IR spot in your league? Damn.
Yeah, then it's definitely a drop.
Damn.
Yeah,
not just short term. Yeah, I mean, if you got one,
I'm still going forward.
I don't know if you keep, if Deontay is the one that you keep there. Like, if you got one IR spot,
I'm not keeping Jamal Williams over Deontay. I'm keeping Deontay 100%.
Yeah, I'd keep Deontay. It just fucking sucks that you lose. Yeah. No, just short term since Kamara comes back. next week, and hopefully Saquon returns
I still take
soon.
Ford over him in the short term as well, because who's going to come in there and take more of a command of that offense than him? And Joshua Kelly versus him is a crapshoot on who's a better.
But you don't want to think about what we said at the beginning of the show with the whole Ford thing. You don't want to get caught in that whole circle of, well, they suddenly brought in, Kareem Hunt, and now you're dealing with that.
But I mean, just for 1 week, I don't think Kareem Hunt's going to get there quick enough for them to take Ford out from a majority of the playbook. Like for just next week, I would say Ford is safe as being probably the RB1. I think it's too deep for them to make a switch and have someone come in and play ahead of him.
If you could trade for ETN, yes, I'm with that shit. I'm with that.
I would.
And you're probably trading for AJ. Now's the time that you got to do it, because Jalen Hurts is yesterday. This week's price after week 3 ain't gonna be the same on AJ Brown.
You know what? I think that's a perfect segue into the next topic that we have, which is the fantasy football trade targets. And I think that's an exact trade target that a lot of people should probably have, because this is not what you're going to normally see out of A.J. Brown. We saw both wide receivers eat last year, and it's just a product of circumstance right now that A.J. Brown is not getting off. And I fully expect him to start to get off as we go deeper into the season. He is not as bad as he's showing, and some people will hit the panic button. And if you can get him low, I think he's a great buy low.
Yeah, like you definitely have to trade absolutely for AJ Brown right now. Right now, while prices aren't too crazy, if you will. Let's see. Wait, hold on, really quick. Go after your other options first. Have them set in your priority of which you put them into the chat. Yep. Another player that I'm trying to trade for right now is Brian Robinson. Like, if you can get Brian Robinson,
he might be too high right now, because
it's gonna be you will have to pay, but with the way that things are right now at running back, you could package a couple of pieces together and maybe bring them back. But that's someone that I am definitely trying to trade for. Who else are you looking at, Taco?
Damn it, I just had someone and I lost them. Oh, David Montgomery. With the news of his injury, I think some people are kind of freaking out. And Montgomery was talking about multiple weeks, but the coach was saying he's day to day. He's probably going to miss at least a week, I would say, like with the injury and with the way that Montgomery initially sounded. Although we haven't seen the latest press conference, so I need to monitor that situation, and I will be monitoring it. So, follow me on Twitter, follow Big Guy Sports as well. We always make sure that we tweet out, this kind of information. But he's a guy that you might be able to get him a little bit lower than he's actually valued at right now. And I think this coach has made it very clear. David Montgomery is the RB1. We need to stop pontificating and praying
for Gibbs when
he's not the RB1. He's used as a wide receiver and as like a stretch running back, an outside running back. They are not running him up the middle. I do not expect him to be there in the goal line packages. I do not expect him to play that red zone. I do not expect him to get the short yardage, which means that Montgomery is actually going to be valued way more than he was initially thought to be. And if that owner doesn't or that rosterer doesn't really understand what they have, which in some cases, in a lot of cases, a lot of people don't know what they have, you might be able to get him for less considering the injury situation.
Oh, absolutely. For me, let me get Michael Pittman right now. Let me be able to buy on Michael Pittman while his quarterback Anthony Richardson is healing. This is simply what it is. Pittman so far through week 2, I want to say wide receiver 30, give or take. Hang on. I just had it up. Yeah, Pittman, wide receiver 30 in week 2. I feel like, let me go ahead and grab some Michael Pittman really quick. Anthony Richardson is, down a little bit while we're still waiting on what happens with Jonathan Taylor. Let me buy into this Colts offense because this Colts offense actually is looking all right. It's looking pretty decent. And when Anthony Richardson is in the game, he makes everybody else look like all-stars. So I think I wouldn't mind grabbing Pittman because I think he'll just continue to climb.
Yeah, I mean, I think that offense in general is a offense that is very interesting. All right, so
Yeah.
Are we doing tight end trade targets or any other trade targets? Because I mean, I got AJ Brown and Montgomery, and then you had year 2.
I think I got one more, maybe. No, not really. I don't have enough. I don't have one for tight end. The tight end position is practically a fucking wasteland. Like, it's tough. It's tough to justify trading for a tight end. I mean, you don't need to go and get Cole Kmet. Okay. Jake Ferguson was out there 95% of the snaps. But you can grab him off of waivers because he's 29% rostered. And he had a touchdown against the Jets in that game. And they're playing Arizona. They're going to beat the dog shit out of Arizona. So I'll just throw that out there as someone you should grab. And also Kylan Granson. Kylan Granson, tight end 8 so far throughout 2 games for the Colts. Double digits in both, 19.9 fantasy points week 1, 15.6 fantasy points in week 2. Because Kyle Pitts ain't going anywhere anytime soon for you.
Honestly, I would probably go Henry over Warren because Henry is delivering right now. But the problem is this week's results don't predicate next week's results. So the odd point to Henry, I would probably play Henry over Pitts next week if you had to put a gun.
I would play anyone that I just mentioned at the tight end position over Kyle Pitts right now.
It's hard to play Pitts, but
it's not. It's very easy to not play Pitts. It's very easy to not play Kyle Pitts.
I mean, when you drafted him, you kind of invest in him a little bit, and it's hard. That's what makes it hard. It's only week 3. You're not going to jump off the ship yet.
When you drafted Kyle Pitts, you literally said, "I know what might happen. Well, I'm gonna do it anyways."
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Actually, I have one last trade target, which I actually think might lead into a next topic is Adam Thielen. We saw a bad week 1, a high week 2, but I think you were beating on a drum that I believe in, and we saw it with the 9 targets and the 7 receptions.
They're trying. They're going to lean.
They're going to try all season with him, and you know what I want? I want that. Like someone might look at him like, eh. But you know what? If you tell me you're gonna try all year to force into this one guy at wide receiver, you know what? Fuck it. If I need a pinch, at least I know they're gonna get him the ball. He's gonna get targets. He's gonna get opportunities to touchdowns, which he did get a touchdown.
Okay. So last night we did have football. Obviously, we led the show talking about the Browns Pittsburgh game. Are the Panthers doing enough to help Bryce Young?
I mean, when you look at the pieces that they surrounded him with, they got solid veterans. They didn't overspend. They put him in a position where, you're going to be available to get one of those top wide receivers in next year's class. What happened?
Bryce isn't making reads. There was a lot of air underneath many of those passes. Like, we know Bryce is a smart fucking player, bro.
Yeah.
Like you didn't draft Bryce Young for some of the athletic tangibles that some of the other guys in the class may have. You drafted him because of his decision making and how smart and his football IQ.
But Robbie, it's week 2 of his
It
career.
is.
His career.
Yes.
Like, there's things called nerves and energy. And look at the last game. It was 17-20. His defense really kept him in it, and he didn't lose him the game. You know what I'm saying? He's still developing. He's still in his processes. And as a smaller quarterback, sometimes he might just still be feeling uncomfortable and still kind of getting used to the pocket and used to how it feels.
Oh, you can tell. You can tell.
So we have to give him a little bit of grace, I feel like, in this situation. And do I think that they did enough? Well, strategically, the way I look at it is, you got a guy like Mingo as your young guy that you want to develop chemistry with. You got, Thielen and Chark. You got Thielen and Chark as your more veteran guys to give him some solid base. You got Hayden Hurst to give him another veteran tight end. You went out and you got Miles Sanders to try to give him, a running back last year that produced solidly, that can catch, that can run, that's dynamic. You gave him pieces to say, listen, this isn't an all-star team, but you ain't starting with nothing. You ain't starting with nothing. We've seen teams start with less. You have something here. I think what they really want to do is they don't want to overly be too good this year. And they want one of these elite wide receivers that are in this next class to pair with this kid to give them his number one option and let him start to get a feel of how the game is played.
They need to build up that offensive line before they do grab any receivers. Before they draft any skill positions or damn another thing, that they need to get that.
If you get the number 2 pick and someone's looking at a quarterback, you could trade back, get 2 first-round picks, and get both things solved. Like, you look where they're possibly headed with having your quarterback.
This is true. This is true. And they have. I feel like things are trying to get put together for them. He's not gonna fully be there until about year 3.
Yeah. Although
we're now getting back into the era of it having to take maybe quarterbacks a little bit longer to develop because a lot of the older guys aren't there to teach them anymore.
All right, then, Robbie, how about this then? You say that, you're going to say that, and then a guy that, I really was interested in and love, CJ Stroud. He was the next pick right after, Young, and he's already delivered a 300-yard passing game. You know what I'm saying?
He did.
Fields hasn't thrown as many 300-yard passing games as this kid. Currently, he's QB 17. He is. I'm not saying he's amazing by any stance, but he's looking better than way better than Young has so far. And you
both him and Richardson have looked better than Bryce Young.
You almost have to think, hopefully the Panthers have their scouting and their analysis right. Because, again, these things do take time. Think about it. 2 years ago, everyone was Herbert. But if you put in the vacuum, I get it. But look at what the way Tua has been playing.
Bryce, you pretty much got to just hope and pray that you can somehow get as close to the playoffs as you were last year. But I think it's back to being the regular old Jets that we've all been accustomed to.
I think if they can get a quarterback, not Zach Wilson, maybe they could have a chance because that team is ready to go. They need
next year.
They need. I hate to say it, but I'm in New York and I see it a lot. That defense is legit, but that defense kind of loses. It's a gut punch when your offense is that bad and you make so many stupid plays and you get the turnovers and shit. It's kind of hard for the defense to get fired the fuck up to make the plays that they need to make, and that's no fault of the offense because let's say the defense should be operating independent of the offense. Even if the offense sucks, it should not affect the defense, but. The
offense underneath Zach Wilson is. I wish we could have gotten to see what. Man, I wish
4 snaps.
Yeah, 75 seconds.
Yeah.
What 0-2 team worries you? Wow, what 0-2 team worries you the most? There's a few teams out there that are 0-2 to start the season.
So can Can I give the team that worries me the most and then an honorable mention after that? Because there's two teams that really I'm worried about.
Okay.
So the team that I'm most worried about is the Los Angeles Chargers.
Yes.
The reason why I'm most worried about the Los Angeles Chargers is you mother. Did you see that game versus the Titans? How do you not like? I don't understand. You like out threw them. You outran. You were doing everything. Like you're not running, but like you were beat. You every statistical category you looked at, you beat them. And other than the rushing yards, and that's all it took for them to win. Like literally, you got the ball first. You went 3 and out, and boom, that was a game you should have won. You could have won, and if you didn't win, kind of makes you look at it like if you still can't beat this Titans team. It's Titan teams that everyone's looking at is like, where Tannehill isn't playing great, where he has 3 passes to Burke, with one of them being a 70-yard play. Come on, Chargers. What the hell are you doing? I think if I heard correctly, the safety was the leading tackler on the team, the most tackles for the team, Derwin James. I'm like, that's the fucking horrible when your safety is having to make plays to stop the guy from scoring. All the goddamn your linebackers should be coming down. Your defensive tackles should be getting a couple. But for your safety, who's not even like a guy that's playing in the box all the time, to be getting that many tackles shows how bad you were, how many big plays you gave up.
It was awful. It's definitely horrible. In both of in that Charger scenarios with the offense and the defense. It just feels like it's the same old Chargers to me.
How about this?
Brandon Staley has to be gone probably by like week 6. Like
this is something to me that I find so fascinating. So in this division, everyone is negative net points except for one team. And I think you can guess that team. I'd like you to get one guess.
It would be honestly, it's the Raiders.
No, actually,
the Chiefs. The Chiefs are +7.
Yep, the Chiefs are the only team plus in the whole division. The Raiders are -27.
-27.
The Broncos are -3. Chargers are -5. Look at the points for 58 points for the Chargers. They're far and away ahead of everyone else, but they allowed 63 points already on the season. Look at the Chiefs.
They are letting
only allowed 30.
And I don't think that this week of practice is enough to get it together, especially against another team that's 0-2 that I'm severely worried about. And that be the Minnesota Vikings.
Oof. I can't.
That defense is horrible. Minnesota is losing by an average of 9 points.
You know what's worse than the Minnesota defense right now? The Minnesota running game. Does it exist?
Alexander Madison's terrible right now.
Okay, now I know that we were talking about waiver wire pickups, but I'm talking about waiver wire watches right now. Some deeper leagues, you're going to want to make this play. Again, we like to give it to you early. So this way, when you come back, you say it's on tape. Ty Chandler. Okay.
Ty Chandler. Yeah.
I don't know who lost who.
Why are you taking my take? Shut the
When that shit applies, that shit applies, bro. When that shit applies, that shit applies. You bring it.
Are you good? Are you good?
What's good, dog? What's good, dog? We about to win some money, right?
Fucking just stealing my takes. My gosh. Yes, Ty Chandler, ladies and gentlemen. I've been told you guys about this over on my YouTube channel, Rumboyz Fantasy Network, where Taco also works, where he heard this in the first place when literally he was on it. I don't know about this guy. And then I like, should have watched the film. Check this out. And he's like, oh, wait, no. Yeah. Anyways, you tried to like bang that drum like it was you. Like, what are you doing?
I didn't bang the drum like it's me, but I did play the notes. I was like, it just makes sense in this conversation with what we do and how we teach the players. Because let's face it, Robbie, at 5% roster coming off with all these running back injuries, if you miss out on all these guys and you don't want to spend fab, why not take a shot at Ty Chandler for $1 fab and be able to stash him and find out 3 weeks later he's just starting running back on the team?
I mean, yes, he's definitely a stash, but like, I don't. with all the talent out there right now.
How long do you think
Go.
Madison is going to be able to keep that job? And
Oh, I
who's
don't think
next
he's
in
gonna.
line?
I don't think that he'll keep the job long.
So
But
then
what I'm
who's next
saying,
in line?
is there's
You're
other
right.
there's
He's
other
like six.
talent that you
He's
need
six
like right now.
right now. But how long are you waiting on Chandler?
On so far that are on better offenses.
I'll be honest with you. In competitive leagues right now, in big money competitive leagues right now, I'm already reaching for Chandler. Period. Point blank.
Go for it. Go
Because
for it.
you know
I
what?
already have him rostered.
So this is what we're saying to you guys in the super competitive leagues. Now, obviously, the guys that we mentioned first, you get them first because we mentioned them first for a reason. But we're talking about now once you get to the nitty gritty, once you face in the Sharks, when you're in the home leagues with the guys that are super competitive, these are the guys that are going to be available now that we start looking at 2 to 3 weeks might get that opportunity that we want to start adding before they start becoming waiver wire ads and we're spending fab dollars on, and that we can save our fab dollars for those emergency situations or the blow up running back that comes up or the Ty Chandlers that we missed that all of a sudden come in the game and you're like, oh shit, I need Jerome Ford. That's what I'm saying to you right now.
I'm known for stashing my fab, so like I'm good. I'm good on
that. That's why I get them early.
My other team that has me concerned as an 0-2. We both were on the Chargers, so
I have another one.
Yeah, I had the Vikings.
Yep. So then the other one that I have, the honorable mention that I have is the Bears. Holy shit, the Bears.
That's what I was about to say. Like, that's what I was literally about to say. All right, go ahead, continue.
Yeah, like holy shit, the Bears, bro. Like Justin Fields, I was expecting more from Justin Fields, to be honest. I was expecting to come out and look. People were betting on him to be MVP. Like everyone thought that he was going to take this next step. And so far, like I don't understand what they were doing. Trust me, we literally, and again, this was a topic that we covered on the show. Like people are betting Fields for MVP, and it's a thing. And what are you doing? He does not look close to the MVP at all.
I told everyone that they are donating. I told them that
Listen, if you want to donate to a cause, Scott Fishbowl, RumboyzRobbie has the Hayden Hurst Foundation. Let's donate to Hayden Hurst Foundation mental health awareness, because if you're making those kind of plays, let's be honest, we need a little help here. But Justin Fields, the Bears, that whole offense, they've only scored 37 points. The defense has already allowed 65 points. They have a negative 28-point differential, and only the Giants have a worse point differential than the Bears right now currently. And I think that speaks volumes on how bad not only is the defense, but that the fact the offense ain't moving. So you have to be in full alert because people thought the Bears would win this division. And let's face facts, it's going to come down to, again, the Packers and maybe the Lions if they don't lion.
Yeah. For me, the 0-2 team that has me worried the most so far throughout this season, since you wanted to take the Bears, and I was clearly about to fucking talk on the mic, is the Denver Broncos. Broncos with 2 home losses back-to-back to open up the season. It's really hard to then have to go on the road and be able to compete. What's fucked up is that they're losing points. They're losing games like really close. Makes me not have faith in the Broncos. I'm really starting to believe that Russell Wilson could potentially be washed. They got to face the Dolphins, the Bears, the Jets, the Chiefs, Packers next, and the Chiefs again. The road into Rumtober gets a little rough. Around the time when they got to face the Bears is around the time when last year Justin Fields kind of started peaking a little bit and went on a tear of becoming QB4 overall for the season, which gave people the ability to feel like they could go and bet on Justin Fields for the season MVP. But y'all should have never done that. Anyways, so with Robbie, that being said and stated,
I was going to say, Robbie, is fantasy football different than real football? Is that what you're saying? Fantasy football quarterback 4 is not going to be a potential MVP candidate? Is that what you're saying?
That was his QBR, bro.
Oh, his QBR was 4. Last year was QB 5 or something like that? I know.
Yeah, he ended 4, bro.
Yeah, So I'm saying QB4 in fantasy doesn't mean that you're going to be a potential MVP candidate in real life. Lead your team to the playoffs. You got to be a good player on a good team to win the MVP.
No, anyways. So no, and I've already said that Justin Fields won't be MVP. But yeah, the road for them, gets really rough, and it kind of doesn't really get any easier for them throughout the rest of it. So for me, worried about the Broncos, even though you bring in Sean Payton as your head coach, thinking that your bigger issue is Russell Wilson, your quarterback.
So I have a question for you, especially since you're from the Denver area. You went to the recent game. You kind of have a little bit more. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not from here. Holy crap, Taco.
Okay, you get what I'm saying. You have the ear to the street in Denver. How is this running game gonna play out, especially for fantasy purposes? We saw I think the third string running back coming for the touchdown. We saw it seems like it's splitting pretty evenly between Williams and Perrine. It's kind of a situation where a lot of people were like, wow, Williams came back early from this injury. He's going to be the number one. And it doesn't seem like it's falling there. And just
I think that everyone knew that when they brought in Samaje, that it was going to, the immediate notion in the fantasy community was, like, he's going to steal touches. And I think that everyone was aware in that, in that belief. You gotta kind of do your best to, when it comes to playing which one you're going to play with like a grain of salt, like in all honesty. Maybe try finding a way towards a more clear-cut backfield where it's like, okay, like, these two aren't splitting as 50-50 as much. If anyone has the ability in any scheme to vulture anyone, it is a Samaje Perine. He would do it to Joe Mixon all the time. And Joe Mixon shooters would then be pissed. They're like, no, like, you gave it to Perine. You're going to deal with that exact same thing in Denver between him and Javonte. And Javonte needs a second back anyways, especially given the injury history. So in order for Javonte to be productive, you kind of need Perine to also be productive so that Javonte can be healthy for you. Javonte can't be a cowbell for you. You're not going to get that.
Awesome.
And Denver knows that.
And then one last question I have for you, and this is more real life. Do you think with all the injuries that maybe they trade Perine since they're so in love with that other running back on the roster? You keep hearing Sean Payton and rumors out of camp how much they love this kid. They want to get him more involved. Do you see them with all the injuries and, with the way contracts are in the NFL, maybe dealing him and giving the third string rookie a shot?
Maybe no. I mean, the trade deadline's far away.
Yeah,
trade deadline's far away. Like
if they trend like this, probably though. Like if they keep losing like this, you're probably going to sell off and let the kid play.
But that's not going to be a piece that's going to bring anything like really for you. No one's running out there to go and get somebody Perine. So that's kind of tough. You're pretty much hoping that they're just like, hey, Javonte, we're going to give you, we're going to up your workload to now, like they both kind of fairly scored-ish around the same. They both kind of did a lot of the same things this past weekend. Well, no, because Perine only had like 5 points. Javonte had like 12. I don't know. For me, I wouldn't be in on that Denver. Everyone wants to be in on that Denver team right now. If I'm going in on Denver, it's probably because of like a Marvin Mims or, let me grab a Cortland Sutton. Like Judy didn't really do a whole hell of a lot. I think that Marvin Mims eventually evolves as like the true dominant two to maybe even potentially being the one on that team. So yeah, the team's probably closer to just being like, yo, fuck it, we need to blow it all up and rebuild than they are to a Super Bowl window.
Facts. Sean Payton got his work cut out for him.
Yep. That is today's show. That is today's show. Go back, rewatch it, check it all out. We went over 0-2 worries. We went over some of our trade targets. We answered a bunch of questions in the chat. Gave you guys our must starts as well. Wait, did we do must starts for the week?
Must starts. I don't think we did must starts. I know we did flex plays. I know that we did trade targets. We did 0-2.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We did our flex plays. Yeah, we did our flex players. Yeah, we did our must start flexes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Bryce. We are solid. Yep. We are good. You're starting Puka Nacua always.
Even when Cup comes back.
Even when Cup comes back, I'm literally not worried at all.
I need to see it not happen.
We are out of here. I'm Robbie. He's Taco. Catch us over on BigGuyFantasySports.com. And then also you can catch the both of us on the Rumboyz Fantasy Network as well. We greatly appreciate you. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. All the Rumboys and girls will do. Also, Rumboyz NFL AM is coming to Big Guy Fantasy Sports Sunday mornings. So we got a Sunday morning pregame show coming for you guys.
Hey.
Stay tuned.
Preaching on the